Hey, I'm Carrie Howard with eXp Realty, and I hear PDW is growing again. Congratulations, that is phenomenal. I have known Shelly for a little while. We played golf together one time. I'm terrible compared to her. And as we were just getting out there on the greens, getting to know one another, we started talking about our jobs. And she said, yeah, this is what I do with drones. Blew my mind. I was so impressed by her knowledge just in general. Then I started talking about real estate. And towards the end of our game, I said, hey, if you know anybody who's moving here, please let me know. I would love to serve them. And she's like, as a matter of fact, I do. And so she introduced me to her entire amazing staff. And since then, I have helped 6 of them find houses and be able to live there. It's been incredible. So she reached out to me again. She said, hey, I need your help. We're going again, which is awesome. So what I'm going to do is talk to you a little bit about what the housing market is doing in Huntsville. And then towards the end, I'll send a bunch of data. You're going to have websites, places to research so you can learn a little bit about the Huntsville area. I specialize in relocating, and I do work with current buyers and sellers here in our local market, but I love working with folks relocating to Huntsville. I like helping them understand kind of the broader view picture of what does this area look like? What do the school zones and the different jobs and the different things to do? So I send a lot of information so people can come here and not just find a house. They're feeling like they could thrive. Like they know immediately some things that they can get involved in and enjoy. So that's why I love working with relos the very most. So with that, the housing market is very competitive right now. I don't know where you're from, but right now we are in the lowest supply of houses we've had in 20 years. Yet Huntsville is growing enormously. Some examples of our growth, we have the FBI headquarters too, stationed in Huntsville now. We are now the headquarters for NASA. We have a gigantic auditorium being built in the middle of our city. It's an outside auditorium amphitheater for entertainment industry. So we are growing so much that people don't want to leave. They're keeping their houses instead of selling them. So right now, when you start looking for houses, you're going to notice something very fast. You start a house on that website that you're using, and you're like, oh, this is great. 2 days it's gone. What happened? Well, it went under contract. I recently served someone from PDW, and we wrote 15 offers. The very most we were in competition with was another 47 offers on the same property that we were hoping to get. 47. That's just simply how it has been for a little over half a year here in Huntsville. So it's okay, I got you. I'm gonna definitely talk to you about what that looks like and be available to show that house on Zoom or on FaceTime if you have an Apple phone, or immediately give you a call and say, hey, this house came on the market, what do you think? So because the market is very fast, it's very competitive with prices. Now let's talk a little bit about pricing. If you are from anywhere up north, like the DC area, if you're from West California, you're going to have a drastic culture shock really when you get here, not because it's the South, but because our houses are so affordable. They're huge and very cheap in comparison. Like you can live in a 2,000 square foot or bigger house for under $300,000. It's incredible. Our taxes are even better. If you take, I'll just tell you the math program because most of you are engineers. If you take the amount that the house cost and multiply it by 0.0058, that's the city of Huntsville millage rate, that is your taxes for a year. If it's Madison City, it goes up to 0.0065. It might be 68, I have to go back and check. But our taxes are incredible. Around $250,000 house, you're gonna be paying around $1,500 a year in taxes. Wow. So that gives you an idea. When you move here, our taxes are very affordable. Our houses are very affordable, even though you're competing for a house and probably writing an offer more than what they're asking, and that is very common. We'll get together and talk about it individually so I can explain in detail. But if you're against 20 other offers, you're going to be competitive. But even though our houses are more expensive, the thing that keeps it all in checks and balances is the interest rate. So that leads me to the next point in buying a house. Excuse me. If you haven't bought a house before, here's the process. So you and I will talk over the phone. I'll take all these notes on what you're looking for. I'll send you some sheets to fill out so that way I understand what you need. And then I'm gonna hook you up with some lenders that will take good care of you. Now look, you can choose whatever bank you wanna use. I'm just gonna send you people that I know for a fact We'll answer the phone at 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday and be like, hey, I heard you going through an offer. How can I help? I got people like that in my back pocket. They're incredible. But what we'll do, we'll talk about your lenders. So you're going to pick somebody to have a mortgage with. Interview them. Okay? They're competitive. They're very competitive. Ask them what their interest rates are. What kind of packages do they have? If you're a first-time home buyer, do you have to have a down payment? Let them know more about you without running your credit. Just talk to them. And that way you can understand what can they offer you. Because if you're going to be spending that much money on something, you need to know who's taking care of that money, right? So we'll talk to a lender first and get you pre-qualified. And all that is just simply saying, hey, this is your range of houses that you can afford. At that point, you and I are going to be looking for houses together online. If you see something you love, I'll drive there. I can do a FaceTime or a Zoom meeting, show you virtually what it looks like. If you're able to fly down or drive down and see it, then we will. We'll be looking for houses together. If you find one, then we'll write an offer. If it gets accepted, then at that point, there's two things going on. Your lender will take it from there. She or he will hire the appraiser. They're going to look into the title and the deed and all that research. I will look into the house structure with you. So here's a little bit about Alabama. We're a caveat emptor state. That's Latin for buyer beware. They do not have disclosure statements in Alabama. Like if you've ever bought a house before, you probably have this long list of everything in the house, how old it was, any kind of repair issues in it. No, we don't have any of that. It's not even a document. So because we're a buyer beware state, it's important for you and I to find a home inspector that you like. And again, I have a bunch that I can recommend. But one that you like, and what we're going to do with that is have them come out to the house and from the shingles on the roof all the way down to the crawl space or the slab, inspect everything in it. Plumbing, making sure the lighting's okay, all of the functioning things are okay in the house. And if they're not, we're going to ask for them to make it okay. We're going to ask for them to repair it. They might not do all the repairs, but darn it, we're going to ask for everything that the inspector asks because you don't ask, right? An example, I was shopping with Matthew Hernandez. He's looking underneath all the cabinets in every single house. I was like, buddy, what are you doing? He's like, I'm looking for mold. I was like, well, if you find it, we're going to be asking them to take care of that because that's a health hazard and we don't sell houses with mold in them. And so it was just like, wow, that's awesome. And I mean, he had no idea. Or like, Wayne, we ended up asking for everything on the list. And you know what? That seller said, okay, I'll fix everything that you asked for. It's like 30 items. It was a lot. So what we're going to do in that aspect of it is making sure you know the product you're getting. So the lender does their thing, you and I do our thing, and then we're done. We go to the closing table and you get the house. So that's what that process looks like. I can help you out with lenders, with home inspectors, every single thing that is used in this entire process. I even have a concierge service that will transfer your mail, you get your trash and your power and all that underneath your name. Is totally free. So that's kind of the process of buying and selling. Leaving the negotiating up to me. This is what I'm really good at. I love the law. I like the legal side of real estate, and I'm very good at it. So what we can do is make sure that you understand to competitively get a house, is it worth it? Are you really going to offer that much? Do you have that much left over at the end at closing to make sure your finances are protected? So that's a little bit about the buying process, a little bit about the very competitive market here in Huntsville and the surrounding cities. It's not just Huntsville. Last but not least, a little bit more about our city. Again, I'm going to send these in a PDF document for you guys to read through, but it's fun. Like, we have a downtown area, and it's not the kind of downtown to where I'm like constantly checking behind my back to see if somebody's following me. It's fun. It's an area that invites, before COVID, families to come out, and there's movies in the park, like huge blow-up screens with movies on them, and everybody's like out there in the grass. We have a lot of concerts. We have these little mini golf things down the city squares, and you can putt-putt in front of different businesses. We do stuff. We do stuff as a city, and it's very, very fun. We have a lot of outdoors things that you can be interested in, between caves, and if you're a rock climber, we got some of that going. We have a lot of hiking trails, lakes, things like that, rivers. So it's a very wonderful, fun area to come to. So lastly, last but not least, about me, I'm going to be sending you my contact information. And look, I love doing my job. If anything, I have to pull myself back to not be a workaholic because I love it. I like serving families, all kinds of different families. So if you have questions about any part of the process, I got you. My number is 205-937-1334. And I'm available anytime. I'm a late night person, so you feel free to text or call or whatever and just go through what you're thinking about, any kind of hindrances that you may have of moving here. Let's just see if I can help you through that. So again, my number is 205-937-1334, and I can't wait to meet some of you guys and hopefully find you all a house to either buy or even a house to rent. And I'll end on that. If you're not looking to buy yet, that's okay. We have a lot of rental houses coming up. One of the reasons these houses are flying in 24 hours after being listed is because investors have realized Huntsville's growth. They are coming up and gobbling up entire streets at a time. They are buying as much as they possibly can, all these cash offers, because they want to flip them and rent. So if you're looking at the rental market, there's not a ton yet, but it's coming. We have high rises and apartment buildings coming up all over the city. And so if that's something that is interesting to you, I can definitely help you out in that area too. All righty, well, welcome to Huntsville. Can't wait to get to know some of you guys. See you later.